I love cookies. Cookies are so much easier, in my opinion, to make than any other thing out there. You pretty much just throw ingredients together like you would with cooking, and you just bake. So what I'm gonna do with this lovely blender is I'm going to make cookies, chocolate chip cookies, but I'm gonna remix them a little bit. Normally what I would do is I have this peanut butter cookie recipe that is just a cup of peanut butter, a cup of sugar, and an egg. But instead of doing a peanut butter cookie, I'm gonna make my nut butter that I normally eat for myself and cut that flavor, and then I'm gonna add chocolate chunks instead of chocolate chips. So let's begin. So I have here 3 cups worth of nuts. So it is about 3/4 cup of honey roasted almonds, 3/4 cup of peanuts, 3/4 cup of sunflower kernels, and a 3/4 cup of roasted pecans. So I'm just gonna dump these in. I'm just going to blend this. So normally I would just leave it like this and just put it up and have it ready to go. However, I'm gonna actually put it through the blender so I can make sure it's very smooth for this recipe. Okay, and now we will run this one, hopefully to make it very smooth. If needed, I'll probably add another tablespoon. Okay, it looks creamy. So I'm just gonna scoop this up and pour it into my mason jar. Now we have the nut butter here. This I'm gonna store, and this one I'm going to put into my batter. So I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of what I already made. Oh, where's those? Spatula. And I'm gonna use a cup of store-bought. And this is just because I would like to have my nut butter with apples or pears and not just in the batter. Plus, even though I can put it in a blender and that helps to smooth it out, it's still not as smooth as I would like it to be. And then a 1/2 cup of store-bought. You can use whatever store-bought you like. I like creamy just because I want this to have a pretty creamy consistency. And plus I just like using nut butters instead because you get higher protein levels as compared to using flour or using regular oils for that fat content and that sugar content. If you're allergic to nuts, you can always get seed butter. You can also use sunflower kernels and chia seeds and whatnot to make yourself a seed butter, which works just as well, but you will probably still need an oil to help break everything down. Okay, so that's it for the nuts. So now the recipe, normally my recipe calls for a cup of sugar. I'm not gonna do that. I am going to use honey, and I'm gonna use less of it just because this is already a pretty liquidy mixture. I am going to put some honey. I'm only gonna use about 1/2 cup. I don't need any more than that, to be honest. I didn't even add 1/2 cup. I probably just used about 1/3 cup. Just mix this together. Now we're going to add the egg. Ooh, squills. And also this recipe calls for, well, I don't have to. It doesn't really call for vanilla, but I have extra vanilla bean paste left over that I mixed with leftover vanilla extract. So I figured I might as well just use the leftover of that so I can just finally remove it from my sink and from my counter. And lastly, a teaspoon of, probably a little too much, of baking powder to help it rise. So let's mix. And now I'm gonna throw in the chocolate chunks. Normally you would just use chocolate chips, and this is where I'm really gonna mess with the recipe here. I still have the chocolate banana brownies that I made last time, and I'm just ripping up the pieces and throwing them in. I know that's kind of weird, but I am weird. So we are definitely messing with this recipe and remixing it. Mixy, mixy, mixy. And now for the not so fun part. Because it is mostly peanut butter, I definitely have to store this. I don't really have time today, so I'm probably gonna just store it overnight so it can get chilled and harden up a little bit so I can actually put them on the cookie sheet and bake them for tomorrow. But at least I'll give you a little look quickly. That's the mixy mix. I think it is pretty much ready to go, and it almost looks like a Reese's peanut butter cup was crumbled up in it. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's now the day after, as you can tell because of my clothes. So now I'm just gonna use Le Spoon and start rolling up some peanut butter cookies. I'm so excited for these cookies. I'm actually very hungry. I have not eaten yet. So this is exciting to have some food, even if it's not the healthy variety. Well, I mean, it's the healthy, unhealthy variety. Forgot to mention that these are already sprayed, but I figured that was kind of an obvious. You probably don't have to spray these just because of the amount of oil from both butters in here. But I like to be extra super careful because you never know what's going to happen when you lose a cookie, and no one wants to lose cookies. That's not fun. Okay, we are all done. So let's throw these in the oven. I preset it for 350, so that's gonna go in for about 9 to 11 minutes. Okay, both are in, so now we just wait. Okay, in here they are. I've let them cool down after I left them in the oven for about 10 minutes or so, and they probably cooled for, I'd say, about 4 to 5 minutes. So let's take a look at these beautiful bad beets. They kind of look marbled, and I kind of like that. But overall, they look delicious. So I poured myself some almond milk, and I am ready to try one of these out. Let's try, do I want to go with the biggest one or the smallest one? I'm gonna go with the biggest one. There we go. Looks pretty good, easily breakable like most peanut butter cookies, as you can see right there. So yeah, I'm not gonna even, no pretenses, let's just try this. Very good. You can actually taste a little bit of that, the brownie pieces and the banana that were in them, which adds a bit of a tartness to it with the sweetness that works. I could get behind these cookies, especially on a used for a cookie sandwich, like ice cream sandwich, or for an ice cream sundae, or for anything that has whipped cream or ice cream. Success! This was good. I'm almost always happy with peanut butter based recipes, especially when they're cookies. So thank you for trying these out with me. Like I said before, you can always try seed butter, or you can always use baking soda with the honey. There's so many different options you have in terms of substituting ingredients. So try them out, get busy in the kitchen, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna go with a little cookie too. Still good.